Michael, Chandler, Dustin, Poirier. Guys, what do you want to do? I mean, you tell me. These two are going to go strap it up. These two are going to go fight. These two were #1 contenders in the last calendar year. These two, through different organizations, have both held world titles. I mean, you want to talk about a co-promote? I've heard about co-promotes for years. This is as close as you're going to get. The UFC champion is going to fight the Bellator champion. You do what you want with that, but I would like you to tell me ahead of time, in all fairness. I have seen over my illustrious time in this sport as a fan, look, 155 pounds, this is iron on top of iron. I don't know that we have a bad name. You can put the top 10 guys on the door board and throw a dart. I think that we would all go, okay. It appears to me, because of Volkanovski stepping up, having the face-off, having the agreement, and apparently even having a date set, it appears to me that we've taken our eye off the ball of #1 contender. Now, if we've done that, rightfully so, see, I like the backup guy. I don't think there's any opportunity more in this sport than being ready for something that's not supposed to be yours. To be ready to step in, I don't think there's any opportunity. If I was a manager, if I'm managing, boy, that's what we're getting ready for. That sounds like you're winning the lottery. Boy, that lottery comes up a lot. I mean, it really does. I think that's the spot. Now, I bring that up because I know Chandler wants the title and nothing else. When I talk to Michael, I can't hear anything. I can't hear about Dustin Poirier. I can't get the questions answered that I called to at all. He can talk about his title. However, with Chandler, I've got to defend him on this, guys. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get him there. Islam Makhachev was not the champion until a week ago. Islam Makhachev was floating around the division with a beautiful ranking next to his name, and Michael Chandler tried to get that match because he thought that's the one that would get him to the title. So now we've tested a guy's sincerity. We've already seen what his skills are. You bring him to the media mecca of the world and you put him in there opposite Dustin Poirier. I really think that should be looked at. Now, feel free to push back, guys. Feel free to remind me about a young man named Benny Dariush. But we're either right or we're wrong. We're either right that there's no #1 contender because Volkanovski's the #1 contender and we've got a period of time. I think that takes us through like March of next year, right? It takes a period of time. So now you're talking about a return realistically of June and maybe even July. You've got some time. But if we're right about that, then we're going to have to get somebody in there to be the next #1 contender. And what we generally do is we'll put them on the same card. So is this a situation where the winner of Chandler Poirier draws in to Benny? I'm sharing, guys, just to remind you, you're the ones that start this. Please don't mistake that. There's a few times through history where this is a #1 contenders fight. Oh, it is? Yeah, that looks like it should be. Those guys are pretty good. That's really not the way it goes. It's a coveted division. What are these guys fighting about? I mean, this has turned into one of the most personal grudges. You do remember what it's about, don't you? You remember that Michael Chandler grabbed the microphone and burnt the house down, right? Say some things into a mic, you're gonna have to answer for him. You're gonna piss some guys off. Oh wait, should I mention he didn't say anything about Dustin Poirier. That's what the problem is. Do you guys remember this? This has turned into one of the most personal grudges to where they're doing media now and they're having to do it from separate locations because they're getting mad. It's the first time Dustin Poirier has ever been mad. And Dustin, he's starting to upset Chandler. Within the next 2 weeks, I mean, this thing's gonna get weird. That's a hard fight. You got a world champion versus a world champion. You want to put former in front of it? Go right ahead. The former world champion versus the former world champion. Two different organizations, man. This is a big fight. What are they fighting for? That's up to you. I'm making a suggestion for you. I don't believe we can reasonably #1 contender this match. I don't, because I think you got Benny sitting there. But I don't think Benny can go next as long as the chips fall where they're supposed to fall. Because that appears to be Volkanovski. So am I right? Am I right that Dariush is sitting there and he's ready? And his opponent is coming out, and it's either going to be Chandler or it's going to be Poirier.